Hello everyone, Andy Schwab here with your Northern Ag TV. Well, during our sister network's Voices of Montana hour-long talk show yesterday, several guests spoke on the comprehensive water review taking place in Montana. Rayleigh Honeycutt with the Montana Stock Growers Association, Dr. Anna Packenham Stevenson of the DNRC, and Clayton Elliott of Montana Trout Unlimited joined the show to discuss several hot points that have been viewed as maybe controversial over the past decade. Elliott told us after the show that collaborative effort has helped highlight the common ground instead of focusing on the fighting words.
The challenges are not specific to industry. The challenges are across the board, and so we have to develop solutions together to meet those challenges. And for me, specifically in regard to production agriculture, I think it's a critical partner in preserving and protecting cold water fisheries in Montana. What's good for production agriculture keeps our family farms and ranches on the landscape, also helps keep healthy, intact river systems that have robust fish populations. So for me, it's a natural partnership, and I think that there's a lot more that we can do together, focusing on that probably 90% that we agree on as users, than focusing on maybe the 10% that we have a different opinion on.
Now, DNRC's Water Resource Division Manager, Dr. Anna Packenham Stevenson, added that the collaboration has helped develop a diverse portfolio of policy when it comes to exempt wells.
In the conversation that's occurred over the last 18 months, exempt well policy has to be site-specific. What we've seen that hasn't worked is a broad brush policy that doesn't work for individual communities and locations. So the exempt well policy being put forward by the stakeholder working group is really scientifically driven, based on the science and information of groundwater and surface water and legal water availability. It's based on locations that are experiencing groundwater and surface water challenges uniquely, and it's legally defensible. So I'm really excited about that diverse portfolio of policy that's being put forward by this working group.
Of course, that water discussion will be a huge point of emphasis next year during the legislative session, as 6 bills will be presented in Congress. In addition, Montana Stock Growers is also hosting its final leg of their 3-part webinar educational water series on November 21st that will cover the future of exempt wells. Details for that can be found on our events calendar, along with yesterday's talk show conversation, all of course at northernbroadcasting.com. And speaking of the convention season, it's right around the corner, and for Wyoming, it's kicking off next week. That's the Wyoming section of the Society for Range Management, as they're going to hold their annual 3-day meeting in Casper beginning on Monday. Wyoming SRM President-elect Russell Burton told me one of the agenda items includes the panel discussion with federal agencies, which will also offer a Q&A portion for the rangeland users to hear from those leaders.
There's a lot of hot topics on all of our minds that have really caught the news here recently that affect rangelands in Wyoming and across the western United States. And so jumping in to be able to look at those topics and talk in a respected place is really important. And a lot of these agencies say this is our job, is to share information, and we want to do it in a way that's accurate and somewhat efficient in the way we kind of hand that information off to the public.
Now, Wyoming's SRM will also have educational workshops and competitions for the next generation of range managers, plus other great panel discussions. Well, we need to take a break, but come back with me in 30 seconds to look over your livestock and grain markets.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Steady to somewhat softer cash cattle markets held steady for the second day of selling. Hopefully this will curb the fall of the futures complex today, as softer trends of those negotiated sales should not come as a surprise to many. Unfortunately though, the sagging box beef prices have not been supportive to those hopes. However, one market that seems to not be worrying too much about the market fundamentals have been the local auction barns. Sharply higher prices continue to be captured, especially in those lighter weights of steers and heifers. This potentially could be indicators that traders are not anticipating a herd build quite yet, and know that getting those calves purchased now instead of after a potential price hike next year is very important. On the grain front, well, they had a mixed Wednesday as they had end-of-month positioning and technical recovery, with soybeans posting double-digit gains after setting new lows on Tuesday. Wheat is actually the only one with meaningful current fundamental news, as poor winter wheat conditions in the U.S. and continued questions of those regarding Russia's production and export book continue to provide that support. Corn also posted a very quiet midweek session on Wednesday, wedged between the technical support and resistance, along with waiting for fundamental fuel to drive that leg of the prices. Well, that's going to do it for our ag markets and news. I'm Andy Schwab. Have a great rest of your day.